For years, Deadliest Catch brought us face to face with the brutal reality of commercial fishing. We watched these fearless souls battle freezing waters, monstrous waves, and crushing odds. But some of them never made it back to shore.
3 crew members, Josh Paulus, Danny Matlock, and Blaine Steinmetz, were killed.
Today, we journey through loss and legacy, honoring the Deadliest Catch stars you may not know passed away.
Somebody got hurt really bad.
He's going to die.
Remember tuning in to Deadliest Catch, hearing the Bering Seas roar and knowing real lives were on the line? For longtime fans, Todd Kochutin's story is a gut punch. He wasn't a household name like Wild Bill or Sig, but if you watched season 17's finale, The Ultimate Price, you felt the shift. News spread like wildfire. The Patricia Lee had lost a man. On the Summer Bay, Wild Bill went silent, waiting for confirmation. Every captain, every crew member held their breath. Todd was just 30.
What's Todd? Todd's the one that died.
An 800-pound crab pot ended his life in an instant, a brutal reminder of how real the danger is. He'd already lost his parents, brother, and sister. When Todd died, he was the last of his family. But he was more than a deckhand. Todd's grit and passion for the sea made him a favorite among captains and crewmates alike. He spent years facing the Bering Sea, fishing king crab, opilio, cod, and pollock living, for the water that ultimately claimed him. Rest easy, Todd. You'll always be part of the Deadliest Catch family gone, but never forgotten.
Well, I'm going to do my best. That's what I'm here to do.
Right on, man.
Hey Chicago, Nick McGlashan here from Deadliest Catch on Discovery Channel.
If you watched Deadliest Catch, you remember the fire in his eyes, sleeves rolled up, laughter echoing through the storm. Deck boss on the Summer Bay, 7th-generation fisherman, born in Alaska, crabbing since he was 13. Nick was more than Wild Bill's right hand. He was the soul of the crew, the comeback kid who wore his scars out loud.
And the champion of the hook toss is Nick McGlashan! Yeah!
But off deck, the battles raged. Nick fought addiction, heroin, meth, alcohol openly, bravely.
I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, and I can't live life that way.
In 2016, he was suspended from the show. He went to rehab, clawed his way back, and inspired others with his grit. Fans saw him rise, fall, and rise again. Then, December 2020, Nashville. A hotel room, a toxic mix meth, cocaine, fentanyl. Nick was gone at 33. The news hit like a rogue wave. He left behind 2 children, a legacy of hard work, and a hole in the heart of the fleet. Nick gave everything to the sea. Now, the Bering is one soul quieter, and the deck will never feel the same.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
Love you, man.
Love you, Nick! Rest in peace, my brother!
Think back to Deadliest Catch, the sleepless runs, the relentless seas, the kind of exhaustion that bends even the toughest crews. Among them was Mahlon Reyes, quiet, gritty, the deckhand you rooted for. He wasn't on our screens long, just 14 episodes, grinding it out on the Seabrook and Cape Caution, but his work ethic and heart were unmistakable. Off camera, Mahlon was recovering from a torn Achilles, determined to return for another season. But in July 2020, at just 38, tragedy struck. Home in Whitefish, Montana, Mahlon suffered a massive heart attack. He never regained consciousness, and his family made the heartbreaking decision to remove him from life support the next day. Months later, officials revealed the cause, an accidental cocaine overdose. His death shook the Deadliest Catch family. His wife, 4 children, and crewmates who scattered his ashes at sea. Mahlon Reyes, tough, loyal, relentless, a fisherman's fisherman forever part of the Bering Sea Brotherhood.
Hey, don't be laughing, because I know the saying. Just remember that. I know how to get you back.
The name alone was the Bering Sea gritty, relentless and real. He wasn't just the captain of the Cornelia Marie, he was its soul. Fans met Phil in the early days of Deadliest Catch, his sons Josh and Jake at his side, their bond forged in storms and saltwater. He started fishing with his dad at 8, and by 21 he was one of the youngest skippers on the Bering, already a legend in the making. Phil's life was hard-charged, chain-smoking, wisecracking, never backing down from a fight or a wave. In 2010, during Season 6, tragedy struck.
911, what's your emergency?
I think my dad had a stroke.
While offloading crab at St. Paul Island, Phil suffered a massive stroke. Cameras kept rolling as he fought through surgery and a coma, even scribbling a note, "You've got to finish the story." For a moment, hope flickered. He squeezed hands, spoke to his sons. But on February 9th, at just 53, the sea claimed one of its fiercest captains.
Phil Harris, the fishing boat captain, whose adventures off the Alaska coast were captured on the television show Deadliest Catch, has died.
Discovery's tribute wasn't just for Phil, it was for every fan who felt the loss. Phil Harris wasn't just a captain, he was a force of nature, and his wheelhouse will always echo in the heart of Deadliest Catch.
Stepping up to the plate, doing a good job. Real proud to see that.
When the Cornelia Marie lost Phil Harris, the heart of the ship seemed gone. But in Season 7, a familiar face stepped in. Tony Lara. He wasn't just a replacement, he was family. A trusted friend of Phil's, a veteran who had helped build the Cornelia Marie and worked its decks for years, Tony understood the weight of legacy. Josh Harris called him back in 2011, needing someone steady to guide the crew through grief and rough seas. For 6 unforgettable episodes, Tony brought quiet strength and unwavering resolve, helping the Harris brothers find their footing when the world was watching.
If you're going to teach a guy to do things, you got to stick to those 3 steps.
Then, just 4 years later, tragedy struck again. In August 2015, while attending the Sturgis motorcycle rally, Tony Lara died in his sleep from a heart attack. He was only 50. The news sent shockwaves through the fleet. Tributes poured in. Josh Harris called him a mentor, and Captain Keith Colburn remembered him as a top-notch chief, great captain, and even better friend. Tony Lara's time on Deadliest Catch was brief, but his impact was profound, a steady hand in a storm, and a chapter of healing that fans will never forget.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but it's not looking too good right now.
If you watch Deadliest Catch in its early days, you'll remember Blake Painter, the quiet force on the FV Maverick. He started as a deckhand in Season 1, rose to deck boss, and by Season 3, was the youngest captain in the fleet. Blake wasn't flashy, but his calm command and deep knowledge of the sea earned respect from crew and fans alike. But off camera, the weight of the wheelhouse never truly lifted. Years after leaving the show, Painter's life took a darker turn. Chronic pain, a near-fatal car crash, and legal troubles, including a heroin arrest just months before his death. In May 2018, at only 38, Blake was found dead in his Oregon home after days of silence. Police discovered prescription pills, heroin, and meth at the scene. Though the official cause of death was never publicly confirmed, the tragedy was unmistakable. Blake Painter was a symbol of a brutal, unforgettable era on the Bering Sea. A young captain whose story ended far too soon, but whose legacy still haunts the fleet. Not every legend on Deadliest Catch is a captain or a seasoned deckhand. Sometimes it's the greenhorns, the rookies who step onto the ice-caked decks with nerves, hope, and something to prove. Ross Jones was one of those rare souls. He joined the FV saga in season 16, a newcomer thrust into Jake Anderson's relentless world as the crew raced toward the Russian border, an ice storm nipping at their heels. For Ross and the other greenhorns, the Bering Sea was more than a job. It was a crucible. His time on the show was brief, just a couple of episodes, but unforgettable. If you remember him, you remember the laughter, the energy, and the raw nerves. In June 2022, fans learned the heartbreaking news. Ross had passed away. Jake Anderson's tribute on Instagram said it all. "I loved Ross Jones. You made me piss my pants on many occasions. To Valhalla." Ross was a young father, survived by his partner Chloe and their son. His last shared memory was a day at the zoo, celebrating his boy's second birthday. No cause of death has been made public, out of respect for his family. But in the short time he was with the fleet, Ross Jones left a mark that will not be forgotten. Not every story is long, but every story matters.
Greenhorn. I'm just new back. Just green.
Season 7 of Deadliest Catch was a storm of challenges, relentless seas, new faces, and the kind of danger that never lets up. Among the crew was Justin Tennison, a deckhand on the FV Time Bandit, brought aboard by Captain Jonathan Hillstrand and working alongside his cousin Eddie Uwakulani. Justin wasn't flashy, but he was solid, a commercial fisherman who'd called Alaska home for 28 years, and a man who knew what it meant to earn every dollar from the sea. Fans only glimpsed him for a single intense season, but those who watched saw someone who fit right in with the hard-edged, hard-laughing crew. Then, just days after returning from the Bering Sea, tragedy struck. On February 22, 2011, Justin was found dead in a Homer, Alaska hotel room. He was only 33. While police found evidence of a party alcohol and marijuana, the autopsy revealed the true cause: complications from sleep apnea, a silent threat even to the toughest among us. Justin left behind 2 children and a final wish: to be cremated and return to the sea he loved. One last journey, forever part of the water that shaped his life. When Deadliest Catch Dungeon Cove hit the airwaves, it brought viewers to Oregon's legendary Graveyard of the Pacific, where the ocean's fury is relentless. But by episode 3, reality struck harder than any script could write.
The Eagle 3 capsized. 3 crew members, Josh Paulus, Danny Matlock, and Blaine Steinmetz, were killed.
On a storm-lashed night in January 2016, the Eagle 3 fought its way toward Coos Bay. 30-mile-per-hour winds, 10-foot waves, and darkness closing in. Captain Glenn Burkow and his crew, Josh Paulus, 31, Danny Matlock, 37, and Blaine Steinmetz, 52, were nearly home when a monstrous wave rolled the boat. In an instant, 3 lives vanished. Blaine's body was later found on the jetty. Josh and Danny were never seen again. Burkow, battered and freezing, clawed his way across the rocks, walking miles for help, a lone survivor haunted by loss.
Wish I could go back. I would trade any of them places, or all of them if I could.
For fans, this wasn't just another spin-off. It was Deadliest Catch at its most unforgiving. Real men, real risk, and a brutal reminder. The sea doesn't care if you're famous, it just takes. Tom Brossard, the quiet force behind the FV saga, passed away on January 27, 2024, just one day after his 64th birthday. If you watch those gritty rebuild years, you remember Tom. Not in the spotlight, but always in the engine room, welding, fixing, keeping the heart of the boat alive. He wasn't just Jake Anderson's engineer, he was his best friend, the man who taught him everything about boats. Together, they rebuilt the saga from bow to stern, forging a bond deeper than the Bering Sea. Originally from Everett, Washington, Tom spent decades on the water before settling in the Philippines with his beloved wife, Josephine. There, surrounded by his children, Tommy, Jasmine, and Sarah, and 3 grandchildren, he found peace. But in January, a sudden heart attack took him from his family and from the brotherhood he helped build.
What happened?
Tom died.
When Jake got the call, fans saw the weight of real loss, a reminder that behind every legendary catch is a crew, and sometimes a soul like Tom's holding it all together.
Matt and Eric, welcome to the boats.
Nick Mavar was more than just a deckhand on Deadliest Catch. He was the heart and soul of the FV Northwestern. For 16 seasons and nearly 100 episodes, Nick's steady presence and quiet strength made him a fixture on the Bering Sea, a right-hand man to Captain Sig Hansen and a mentor to many. But in December 2020, Nick's journey took a harrowing turn. A sudden, excruciating pain led to a ruptured appendix, revealing a hidden cancerous tumor. The ordeal forced him off the boat and into a battle for his health, a struggle that played out both on and off camera, culminating in lawsuits over his care during the pandemic. After leaving the show, Nick didn't slow down. He captained his own salmon boat in Bristol Bay, always guiding, always giving back to the next generation of fishermen. On June 13, 2024, tragedy struck. Nick suffered a heart attack at a boatyard in Naknek, Alaska. Despite rapid medical response, he was pronounced dead at 59. The fishing world lost not just a legend, but a friend, a mentor, and a true unsung hero of the sea. Nick Mavar's legacy lives on in every wave, every storm, and every life he touched.
Everybody's smiling right now.
Their lives were forged in steel, salt, and sacrifice. Etched into the deck of every boat they braved, these fallen stars gave us moments of courage, heartbreak, and unfiltered reality in one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth. But now, their stories remain as echoes across the Bering Sea. Which of these losses hit you the hardest? Let us know in the comments, and if you want more tributes that honor the real ones behind the camera, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because in the world of Deadliest Catch, the danger never ends, but neither does the legacy. Until next time, stay safe and hold fast.